CIT 1123 Instructional Packet Tracer Video 5.4.13. In this video, we're going to do configuring extended access control list scenario 2. This one's a little different than the last one. We have 3 PCs here, and what we're going to do is put individual rules out for each one of these PCs as hosts, and they're each going to have different services that they are going to be denied out on the internet to server 1 and server 2 here. So check out these two numbers, 64.101, 255, 254, and 64.103, 255, 254. So those are the two servers that we're going to have to set, and we'll do that for each one of the services that we're going to deny for each one of these. Now, here's the thing. It's an extended access control list. The source is on the left, whether it's PC 1 or 2 or 3. So they all have to go in the same list because we're going to be filtering inbound traffic coming into router 1 for each one of these. So it's got to be all together on one list. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're doing here. So configuring a named access control list. So configure one named ACL to implement the following, and that's block HTTP HTTPS for PC 1, block FTP for PC 2, block ICMP for PC 3, and you do that for server 1, server 2 for each one of those. Now, if we look at the next line, it does mention, it says deny this statement, and we're going to name it ACL is really what we're getting down to here. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. And the statements are pretty straightforward for us here. We're going to do 2 statements each for web, one for port 80 and one for secure HTTPS for 443. Remember in the last video we did www. That would translate into port 80. In this case, we're going to do the straight ports. Also in the last video for FTP, we did EQ FTP. In this one, we'll do the FTP port 21, which will effectively block FTP. The ICMP stuff is identical to what we did previously. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go to router 1. That's the only router available. And let's go ahead and open this up a little bit. And let's go ahead and move on this. So en config t. And we're going to start with an access control. This is a extended named ACL. So we're going to go IP access list extended, and we're going to name this ACL. So there we go. And we're at the extended named access control list configuration line. And we're essentially just going to go line by line. Let's look at what we have here. So we have deny. Let's talk about what these things mean as we go through them. Deny TCP host 172.31.1.101. 172.31.1.101. Okay. To host 64.101.255.254. And that's going to be EQ 80. Whoops. And that line is good. Okay, so what do we just do? So the source is 1.101. If we go back to our chart up here, 1.101 is PC 1. The destination is server 1, 64.101.255.254. Let's do our next line, which is going to be for same source, same destination, and secure HTTP. I'm just going to hit the up arrow. Everything's the same. I'm going to change the port. It's still a TCP port, and that one's done. Good. Okay, that was easy. So that was that one. Now let's do the next line. This time we're going to change the destination. So instead of it being 64.101, it's going to be 64.103. Once again, I'm going to hit the up arrow. I'm going to hit the up arrow twice. And let's get back to port 80, and let's just edit that destination, that host destination. And that's done. And then, now that this is fixed and the destination is correct, for the second one, I can just change the port to 443. and I have all 4 of those lines. Well, that wasn't so bad. The other thing is, too, is if we don't do it in that exact order, we won't get points. And that's, we want points. We want points. Okay, so that takes us through step 1, A, B, C, D, and, oh gosh, I guess all the way through to E. So now we're at step 2. Step 2, we're going to deny PC2 FTP access. So this is going to work out pretty much the same way. Remember, it's going to be the same list because you can only put one list on an interface, and everything here needs to be filtered in towards router 1. So this is still going to be on the ACL access control list. Let's go ahead and add that next line where we can, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do this is what I wanted to do. That line is here, deny TCP host 172.31.1.102, that's PC2. To host 164.101.255.254, that's server 1. EQ21, and then we're going to do the same thing where we just change the destination by that one number there, and we're good to go. So let's go ahead and do those 2. All right, cool. Back down to where we were at. Still, access control list is still open, so let's go deny TCP host 172.31.1.102, host 64.101.255.254, and we do EQ 21 this time, right? Done. Up arrow. Change that 101 to a 103. Those 2 lines are done. Great. Let's finish this thing out. So we're going to go down to step 3, and we're going to deny ICMP for PC3. So that's going to be 2 more deny statements. Deny ICMP, and host is 103 this time, 172.31.103. Destination is the same 2 that we've been doing. So let's go ahead and fire this one off. Let's deny ICMP host 172.31.1.103 and host 64.101.255.254. When we do ICMP, we do not put a port at the end of it. Enter. That looks good. And let's go ahead and just change this destination from 101 to 102. Whoops, 103. And that should be good. And those 2 lines are done. And this access control list is pretty much created. Step 4, permit all other traffic. Permit all other traffic. Oops, we kind of lost that there. Let's bring that back. And we'll bring that back up on top. So we do have to add another line because right now we have a deny, 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 deny. We don't have any permits. So we're saying I don't want these things to happen. The very last line, of course, is the implicit deny, which denies everything else. So let's change that. So we'll do permit. And when we want to filter just based on IP addresses, we do a permit IP. So permit IP, and then from any host to any destination. And that completes our access control list. Great. If we wanted to look at it, we would do an end here, and we can do show access lists. Let's see what we have, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 90. Gee, it looks a whole lot like what we have in step 5 here. I think that we're on our way. And we're going to go ahead and apply this access control list to our router here. And that means that it's going to go on this interface, G0/0, and it's going to filter inbound. So let's go to that, config T, int G0/0. And we're going to set this thing up ACL, so IP, access group, ACL, inbound. And that takes care of it. It's done deal. That's it for that. See you in the next lab.